Today, we're going to talk about simple and natural ways to build your estrogen, to balance your hormones, and prevent burnout, which is probably the most important thing because burnout affects every hormone in your body. And I'm going to talk specifically around perimenopause and menopause. I'm a 56-year-old woman. I'm postmenopausal for a number of years, but I have been working with women in the clinic for the last 3 decades, and I see this all the time. So we're going to go through signs, we're going to go through ways to build your estrogen, and also the key, number one key hormone for women that you might not think of, which will have a profound impact on your health. So, so many women, particularly in Western cultures, are inundated with symptoms, and we think that it's inevitable. But I really need you to know that your body is an ecosystem. It's talking to you all the time, and every symptom has an answer. So it is common, but it is not inevitable at all. So let's dive into estrogen. Most people know it, we hear like more wrinkles, dry skin, hot flashes, you might get more belly fat. You might notice that old injuries are creeping in. Some other symptoms of low estrogen that you might not think of: dry, itchy eyes, joint pain, and stiffness. A lot of times, urinary urgency or leakage or chronic UTIs can be part of low estrogen. If you have insomnia where you're popping up through the night, not necessarily trouble falling asleep, but more waking up through the night, or even if you've lost your motivation and your drive, if you get sort of electric kind of shock sensations in your body, ringing in your ears, restless leg, or even like a burning mouth or tongue sensation, this can also be a sign that estrogen's low. And if you're just feeling dry, dehydrated, and just way too old for how you think you should feel, this can be a sign. Your your estrogen is, it's in essence, it's the juiciness. It's one of those rich, moistening, and nourishing hormones in our body. And when we're deficient, that's lacking. So in Chinese medicine, we talk about yin and yang. Estrogen is part of the yin family. The other, yang family has more like hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, testosterone. And we have, guess where, what system is more dominant in our modern culture? It's the yang system. So we overuse and we prioritize that, and that will deplete this yin family. The other key hormone that's in the yin family that's so important is oxytocin. And most people think about oxytocin as the bonding hormone. And yes, it is, but there's actually so much more to it. It's actually the foundational hormone for women, and it's also key for nervous system regulation. So oxytocin, just to give you a rundown, what it helps to do, it helps to regulate the nervous system and reduce cortisol, directly reduce cortisol in our system. It supports estrogen and progesterone balance because we want to make sure we're balanced in those. It improves sleep quality and the circadian rhythm stability. It strengthens our digestion and our gut motility because when we are stressed, the body's like, we're going to do stress things. We're not going to do things like digest and absorb our nutrients. We're just going to survive, basically. It also improves our mood. It calms irritability. It reduces anxiety. It increases or enhances libido, pelvic blood flow, and vaginal health. If you're getting dry, if you're vaginally feeling dry and you're not feeling lubricated, can be a big component of that as well. It also supports cardiovascular health, immune health, and metabolic health. It increases our resiliency, our connection, and basically the sense of safety in the body. And if we do not feel safe in our body, we are in a stress state. So when oxytocin is chronically low, you might get tension, irritability, emotional reactivity. You might have poor sleep or difficulty calming down before bed, so that tired and wired feeling. You might get really strong hormonal fluctuations that feel really hard to regulate. A lot of perimenopause symptoms that feel really intense. It might also show up in feelings like isolation, overwhelm, depletion. Can show up in our ability to feel and receive pleasure, or we might have reduced creativity, or just have a decreased lack of our self-worth or a sense of ourself. And by the way, pleasure can show up in lots of ways. Just enjoying, like being out in the world. It's currently spring here, and so the blossoms are out, the leaves are out. It's like so beautiful, the weather. And when you feel kind of like you can't even enjoy it, this can be a sign that oxytocin is running low. So most important now, like what can you do? So let's talk a little bit about things you can do to build both oxytocin and estrogen. These are natural things, really accessible that you can do um, all the time. So first I'll talk about estrogen building foods. And if you're still menstruating, these would be really important to highlight at in the first 2 weeks of your cycle. So from the time you bleed until around ovulation, highlighting these. The most important time, by the way, to build oxytocin is at your actual cycle. That sort of sets you up for the month. Okay, some things that build estrogen foods. Nuts and seeds, really helpful. Almonds, cashews, walnuts, pine nuts, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds are all really great to build. Legumes, so chickpeas, lentils, soybeans, so good to build that yin side. Um, Lima beans, also really good. Lima beans and mung beans, if you're someone who gets really hot and you get those hot flashes, mung beans, we say not only are they have that sort of estrogenic phytoestrogen side to it, but they're quite cooling in Chinese medicine and they help to work on the liver system. So if you're hot and dehydrated and feeling you're low in estrogen, mung beans are your friend. Fruits also are really helpful. Cranberries, blueberries, strawberries all build estrogen, along with some key vegetables like spinach, sprouts, zucchini, garlic, onions. Broccoli is also really good. All the cruciferous, cauliflower, really good. If you're wanting to look at food as medicine too, if you think of the food and when you cook it or when you cut it up, what does it look like? So for instance, spinach and zucchini, if you cook them, there's a lot of moisture and a lot of water that comes out of them. We'd say they're very yin foods, right? If yin is more moistening, more cooling, more lubricating, and yang is more heating and drying and active. If we eat more yin foods, spinach, zucchini, we're building that yin energy. Beautiful thing, ancient wisdom, 5,000 years, Chinese medicine has always said this. Modern science also shows us that these help to build and support that estrogen in the body. So great, two systems coming together. You also want to lower carbohydrates and sugars or more warming foods. Not too many. You don't want to highlight the rich carby squashes, sweet potatoes. Those are better for building progesterone. So those foods will naturally build estrogen. And then we also want to build the oxytocin. So what can you do to build that? Connection, touch. It is the bonding hormone. So hugging people you love for at least 20 seconds, skin to skin contact, or just a whole body hug for 20 seconds will actually boost your oxytocin. Spending time with people that you enjoy and you love. So family, friends, animals, amazing at building oxytocin. I have two dogs and I tell you, they are like gold for me. Just hanging out and they're so happy to see you're home. Oh my God. And we have a little cuddle. So whatever kind of animal you can go visit dog parks, right? Pat other people's dogs. They're all really helpful. Gentle swaying or dancing. So just this is a nervous system tool, just putting, looking on the wall at a certain point and going back and forth, that swaying naturally decreases your stress hormones and builds oxytocin. Any kind of massage, body work, even for yourself, right? Like gentle touch for yourself, placing your hands, your belly or your heart, little things like that, just connecting inwards, they actually build oxytocin. They usually feel good, right? If you just take a moment, even right now, just put your hand on your heart and your belly, just close your eyes and just take a couple of breaths and bring your energy inward. It will completely shift your nervous system. You can also do gentle restorative practices, yoga, stretching, they can be really helpful. And then the yin activities, things that slow things down, restorative yoga, like warm baths, reading for pleasure. I think reading for pleasure can be an absolute health game changer. Any kind of creative acts. So you can be crafting, drawing, painting, journaling, dancing, singing, humming. Any kind of humming or singing stimulates our vagus nerve and calms the nervous system as well. Simply being in nature without agenda. When we look at nature, so if we see a horizon, usually when we're stressed, our periphery vision comes in and we're very narrow on what we can see. As soon as we look at nature, everything comes back, our head literally comes back, and our vision opens up, and that calms our nervous system, builds oxytocin. Um, Allowing yourself to receive and actually receive rather than giving all the time. So many women are givers, putting their attention on helping others. And it doesn't mean you won't ever give. It just means that you're going to receive. And when you give, it will become from a place of overflow or fullness versus an empty tank. So just allowing yourself to be supported will be a naturally supportive and nourishing thing for you. And then you'll be able to have more energy to give in the long term. The other things, in addition to the foods I talked about to build estrogen, eating regularly and eating healthy, nourishing, balanced meals, starting your day with warm, slow cooked, soups and things like that, herbal teas, tulsi, rose, chamomile, really, really nice. Making your food like preparing it with care and attention. I know if I'm eating or cooking angry or irritated or rushed, it never tastes as good as when I'm actually enjoying it and just prepping with, and it doesn't have to be some elaborate thing, but just more intentionally, like I am making this food to nourish me, and I'm going to put my attention, it can be a meditation practice, put my attention on cutting the vegetables or simmering the food or whatever it is. That and sharing meals with others actually helps to build it as well. So it sounds maybe light, but these little things that we do will actually support and build your system. So if you're interested in more like this, I've got a free download. This is for women to balance their nervous system. It talk a lot about oxytocin building and some foods and some recipes that will build both the yin and be supportive for your midlife body. And yeah, if you want more like this to follow, I'm doing weekly content to help you support you in understanding your body and really simple things that you can put to practice right away. And if you know someone else who would benefit from this, please share it with them because I'm here to help as many women as possible thrive. I talk a lot about midlife and perimenopause and menopause because this is a really powerful transition point leading us into this next stage of life where we get to off optimally be our most radiant version of ourselves because we know ourselves so well. We know what we like, we know what we don't like. And so if this is you or you know someone, please pass it on because we need you thriving. You're here to do something beautiful. And I want to help support you feeling great in that process. Okay, so there you go. That's it for today. Build estrogen, oxytocin, feel better, prevent burnout, and thrive. Okay, bye for now. See you next time.